Dearest gentle listeners, you are listening to the Ladies Bridgerton, the talk of the ton. We are your effervescent mamas, your neighbourhood-friendly Kiwi touch from Middle-earth, New Zealand.
And Patty, Regency romance enthusiast, currently writing her Phoenix Rising era.
Settle down onto your favourite settee as we delve into the lives of the elite and illustrious ladies, lords, and royalty of the ton. This Bridgerton podcast is two friends talking romance, symbolism, Easter eggs, and I'm trying to think. I can't do a Scottish accent like Araminta.
No, do a Cressida whistle bound. Deep, 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 deep dive.
Into the connections of our favourite characters. Because I can't even do deep diving. There we go. deep diving into the connections of our favourite characters. We cover, I hope people remember who Lady Whistlebound is to get the reference. We cover both book, TV series, and notable social media, and therefore will contain lots of tangents.
Yeah, not so many spoilers today, but definitely tangents in the works. Happy Mother's Day, Tangent Squad. For our Mother's Day episode, we finally get to have the Aramintas battle it out as to who is the worst mother in the ton. Will it be the overly critical, scheming, narcissistic hostage crisis of a mother? Or the thieving, gaslighting, borderline personality fueled by an unprovoked hatred for a child? We will commence with the battle. You decide the winner.
Honestly, you started reading out, and I'm like, I actually don't know which one you're reading out first. You know it's bad when you can just throw every kind of negative adjective at a person or at a mama and you don't know which one you're talking about. They all stick. If the shoe fits, Araminta. Oh my god, that fits perfectly. If the shoe fits. Poor Sophie.
Poor Sophie.
Pour one out for Sophie. Let's talk pod snacks. What's snackety snacks?
So my pod snacks today are definitely a little ADHD going on. I recently had a minor setback in life, and I bought a bunch of stuff to eat my feelings this weekend, so I'm dealing with mostly leftovers. I have a little bit of my hot popcorn left, a hot cheese popcorn. I have a few squares of my Reese's candy bar, like the bigger candy bar. I like those better than Reese cups. A pint of blackberries and lemon bars. And I'm just going to pick amongst them while we chat.
I'm so jealous. Blackberries are $9 for 125 grams, which is like a small container, like probably 8 blackberries. So it's like over $1 per blackberry.
Okay, so this is
no words.
This is 170 grams. And I ordered them via DoorDash from a local grocery store, and they happened to be on special. And I got 2 of those for $1.
I pay $1 per blackberry. God dang it.
Blackberry is my favorite berry, just so you know.
Blackberries are pretty sweet. I planted some this year, last year. I have gone back to my Aussie roots. My parents have just gotten back from Aussie a week ago, and they brought me back some cheese twisties. That is the only acceptable response. Chicken means you're some sort of savage. Cheese all the way.
Pretty much anymore, if you say that you're eating cheese twisties, people know your parents went to Aussie.
Or Di's come to visit.
Right. You've managed to get an Aussie connection somewhere.
Yeah. I've got my importers.
Okay, so Bridgerton news.
What's the tea, Vale?
We do have some Bridgerton news. First of all, Simone Ashley has new music out. It is on Spotify. It gives me kind of like a soul R&B vibe. Like, her voice is very kind of like a Toni Braxton-ish, like soft, melodic, a more quiet voice. Now she's not like a powerhouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
But her voice is very
no
sweet.
idea.
I like listening to it. And what was the song I really liked? I wrote it down on another piece of paper, and then I transferred
I'm looking up.
and then I don't remember. Search. What's that one called?
Free?
Free. That's not the one I like the best.
Days in heaven. Didn't think that this
Very soulful. I see what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very sweet and melodic.
It wasn't at all what I was expecting from her. How is it that Bridgerton just has the most amazing cast of both actors
Tragic Romantic is the song I like.
But they
Tragic
just
Romantic is very me.
They seem to pick out people who've got phenomenal singing voices.
Yeah, there are a lot of Bridgertons.
Vibe. I mean, a little bit more relaxed than I typically go for. I'm very high energy.
It's the lyrics for me. I really love the lyrics, and it's a mellow song, so it's like super mellow.
Great week for Simone Ashley then.
He's going to play a concert in LA, like big deal concert. I saw
Who's
him on
that?
TikTok saying that. Ollie Higginson.
That's so great. Ollie's been doing fantastic. He's got another song out now as well, and he just seems to be growing and growing. Probably has something to do with the thirst traps he posts on his Instagram if anyone is interested in those. He posted a picture in the bathtub, like completely stripped down except for his undies, and I was like, oh, Ollie, okay, Footman John, there's a lot of foot right there.
Well, you know my thing with glasses, he did this little video for the one song he had out, and he was in these like thick, chunky, like 1960s mod squad type of glasses, and I was like, Ollie, you're just getting me with them glasses, dude. Like, man with glasses.
Slutty little glasses. Slutty big glasses this time.
Yeah, they were, it was a really good look for him.
Fantastic week for Simone. Oh, sorry. Fantastic week for Simone Ashley because Devil Wears Prada 2 is officially out as well. I have not gone and seen it, but I will go and see it actually. Well, yes. I may not see it at the movies, but I do, like, I will watch it as soon as it becomes available because...
I might go see it tomorrow.
Oh, I'll hop on a plane and come see it with you. I don't really have anyone that will go see it with me.
I don't either. I'm going to be going by myself probably. But since I don't have to work tomorrow now and I'm having a massage because it's the 3rd anniversary of my divorce being filed in court. Like, I signed it technically today. Today is my true anniversary because we signed the documents, but it got posted in
Congratulations!
Court. The court says May 4th. So
the crowd grows wild.
So I'm treating myself tomorrow. I'm celebrating. So I may just do my massage and then take myself to lunch and a movie.
Nice. Please tell me how it is because I so desperately, like, this is one of the movies that I think, like, is pretty universally beloved. I don't think I know anyone who has watched the movie is like, I didn't like it.
Right. I loved it. I thought it was so good.
And to be honest, Stanley Tucci in any movie is a surefire way to make me love that movie.
Have you ever seen The Imposters?
I don't know.
Look it up. It's Stanley Tucci and, crap, what's his name? He was in the old Three Musketeers. He was D'Artagnan.
I know who you mean.
Dang it. I love him too. He's been in other stuff too. I like Oliver Platt. So it's Stanley Tucci and Oliver Platt. And there are 2 actors, and they are running for, I forget what they're running from, but they're running from something, and they end up on a cruise ship, like a ship, and hilarity ensues. They're just pretending to be different people.
In other pod news, a bit of a sad one this time. It's not so much news and not so much gossip, but just information. Nicola Coughlan has said that seeing as they are currently filming season 5,
that's the next one on my list.
She is so busy with doing Saturday Night Live. She's got projects all over the show. She has basically said that
just came out. She's still doing the interview you're talking about.
Yeah, she's still doing promo.
Was a promo interview for Big Mood.
Yes. And basically she has said that as much as she loves going back to Bridgerton repeatedly, this time it's going to be in a much smaller capacity because scheduling just does not allow her to be it anymore. But I am very glad to see that, unlike in previous interviews where she's kind of alluded to, like, once I'm done with the project, I'm kind of done with it. But instead with Bridgerton, she has said it's always nice, like it's always saying I'm going to want to go back to, like even in some small capacity because those are my family sort of thing. So I'm really glad that we have that, not confirmation, but I think given the fact of how much the showrunners love her, I think we will see her repeatedly return, even if it is in a very diminished capacity.
Well, and I think season 5, it would be more diminished because her and Colin don't think they never talk about the Featheringtons having an estate in the country. That they do go to the country, but I feel like they are more like a Bingley where they let a house for the summer. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Featherington House is all they have. So they don't really go to the country that much. So because a lot of season 5 is going to be in Scotland and then at my cottage with Benedict, I just don't think Nicola and
they would have to come up with reasons for her to be there, and that wouldn't really make sense. It would make a lot more sense in season 6.
It would make more sense for Colin to show up, honestly, especially if they involve Sir Philip and,
Yeah.
you know, Benedict Bridgerton Bros and Sir Philip and whatever. If he gets introduced, then it makes more sense for Colin. But yeah, Nicola, they can just say she's in her confinement, right? They have more kids in the books, so it could just be, she could just be in her confinement. So yeah, but yeah, that makes us sad. We're not going to get a lot of Penelope. My next 3 Bridgerton news are all season 5 related. Thank you, Kay, for doing the hard yards for me and digging this up on Reddit. I am not in these subreddits. So she went into the Frankela subreddit to find this stuff for me. So we have some ideas about what the costuming is going to look like because some unknown Bridgerton fan discovered a costume designer's Pinterest and found their Pinterest boards for their ideas for costuming. So if you go look on Reddit at the Frankela subreddit, you'll find these. They're sharing the Pinterest post there. And I've actually seen them on Facebook as well.
It reminds me of the guy who gave away a army ship's location in America from his running app, showing his public location.
Because he turned on his stupid app on an aircraft carrier to do his run.
So funny. Like, people, everyone is on the internet perpetually. Like, you will be found.
He's a product of No Child Left Behind. That's all I'm going to say.
He definitely had some participation awards in his time.
We also have a couple of characters. Lady Elizabeth, which I believe we talked about her before when we brought up the characters that we saw that they were introducing to the cast. I can't remember. I think it was Lady Elizabeth something or other. There's a bit more context to her character. Like, she's a character who's in the know, and she's a longtime friend of Michaela's. So there is some fandom speculation that she's kind of going to be like Diana's Aunt Josephine.
Yeah.
Where she has parties. She has these underground parties for, you know, kind of like Lord Granville.
Like-minded people.
But more society related, not so much underground. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just a way for like-minded people to meet each other in a social setting where you know going in that you're not going to accidentally out yourself. That's what people are assuming.
But I do hope that if she's going to have parties in that way, I love how Aunt Josephine did it, where it was the creatives of the world. It was showing how much, like, when you stop trying to force yourself into this perfect little society bubble, how much creativity and like even the way that the people were dressed in and with an E, like they were so flamboyant in the best kind of way, not like the Featheringtons, which is quite, you know,
garish,
in your face and aggressive. This was so stylish and they were so funky. I loved that episode. It was probably one of my favorite episodes of the entire Bethany series. But when they did it in Bridgerton...
I'm glad you said that you brought up it was Anne with an E, because there are different iterations, and I was getting ready to say, this Aunt Josephine is a rendition strictly isolated to Anne with an E. It's not from the books. It's not canon to the old Sullivan Entertainment and of Green Gables. It was a retelling of her character in Anne with an E, and I kind of like that idea.
But what I was going to say, the difference of how Bridgerton did it, because obviously Bridgerton's meant to be sexy and it's very sex-based, right? And very sex-positive, which is a great thing, but also can portray characters and demographics in a way that isn't necessarily representative. So, like, for the difference is Henry Granville, yes, he had parties of like-minded people, but it was basically a big sex orgy.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, this Lady Elizabeth, people are speculating she's going to have more parties that are like Lady Danbury's married women get-togethers. Yeah. But you're just going to know that everybody there is queer.
Or or open-minded at least. Because I don't want them portraying that this community, because I mean that's very, very common, is more amongst the gay male community that they're all sex depraved, you know, I don't want that to be, because that's not everyone, that's not the entire community. Right. So I don't want Bridgerton just showing the sexy parts of
the side of it,
the sordid side of it, like where they're just doing it for shock factor. And I think it'd be really nice. Like, I love Lady Danbury's women's parties, and I'd love to see similar of like-minded people.
Funnily enough, I don't know who it was. I'll get the name. This was also on Reddit. Kay sent it to me. It was somebody commenting about Lady Elizabeth and Source-Common Sense on Reddit, who's part of the Michaela Sterling Defense Squad, just to make sure I call this person out correctly, said I would watch 18 seasons of this, just of Lady Elizabeth running Mayfair's gay bar. Like it.
Oh my God. For those who are ACOTAR fans, it's readers. You need to read it to get the reference.
But that's funny.
There was also a new Lord.
That's next on my list. I don't like the name.
What was his name? I was looking it up as
Lord Swallow. Considering this is, I mean, that's a sexual euphemism, but I also wonder if it has to do with, you know, because they do a lot of foreshadowing and Easter eggs. Because remember where Lord Debling was talking about the Great Auk, what did Penelope bring up? She brought up the swallow. So I wonder if that gives us an idea about who he is. Like, he's just this nondescript dude, right?
Okay.
But he also got, somebody said his name was going to be Lord Woods as well.
Hey, Patty, you want to tell me what his name is in real life? Your turn.
I don't know his name in real life, but I can find it. I know that he's only in episode 2, I think. So hold on.
Anwar.
Oh yeah, Anwar. Why did you ask me to look for it if you already did?
Because I want you to have to pronounce the hard words for a change and butcher them.
It's I believe it. I mean, Gabrielle Anwar. Her last name is Anwar, and it's spelled the same. So I'm going to go with Anwar Arusi as well. I think that's fair.
He's Middle Eastern, North African.
There is a Lord Woods, Trey Jordan Holmes. So Lord Swallow is different than Lord Woods because there was some confusion. So we have 2 lords. So obviously we're going to have a couple of parties or balls in episode 2 because they're both only tagged in episode 2 on IMDb.
I'm just wondering, I think that Anwar might be if they're going to keep to the original storyline of Michaela running away and Francesca deciding to throw herself back on the marriage mart to try to try for a kid.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a few lords vying for her before.
I wonder whether Anwar will be one of the lords who vies for her attention. Pitter patter pitter patter pitter patter pit. Pitter patter pitter patter pitter patter pit.
Oh, you're hearing my dogs?
Yeah.
Because I'm more like shuffle, 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 shuffle.
No, it's
inevitable when you have an injury that your dogs have to get
under your feet. Yep, absolutely. Well, that's okay. I dropped Ezra off at kindy today, and he's a bit extra needy at the moment, as you can imagine. And I was like talking to his kindy teacher, and I'm crouched down at a small desk, and he's literally climbing on my back, like right up, like nearly onto my shoulders. And I'm like, dude, I am too old for this. Please stop. You're ripping out my hair for one. Oh, I forgot to show you. He has a new haircut. He got big boy haircut.
Did he?
He did.
That's exactly what Zachary does to Samantha. She's his jungle gym.
Yeah. But she's at least got 10 years, 5 years younger than me? 7 years younger?
Her birthday just passed. She just turned 27. Happy birthday, Samantha.
8 years younger than me,
She and I we were supposed to go to lunch today. That did not work out. So I just sent her some money because she's not going to be able to make it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try and drive out there because the only way I get to see my family is if I go to them, you know.
Yes.
They never can make it.
Let's start the final showdown.
Yeah, for real.
All right, who do we want to start off with? Well, I mean, Araminta Cowper's been around a lot longer, so let's start off with her.
Okay, so thinking about Araminta Cowper, like through the seasons, season 1 through 3, the only pro that I could come up with for this mother is that she is ambitious for her daughter, but not in a business sense. Like, even Portia, when Penelope was being courted by Lord Debling, and in the first season, the second season, she was definitely throwing her daughters at lords or dukes or whatever that were higher in station. She was title seeking, very much title seeking. She didn't really talk about land, but definitely money. She wanted security. And she wanted a higher title than they had. But Araminta wasn't necessarily like that. I think she thought that because Cressida was beautiful, as we know from the satire that is Jane Austen, like, it was expected that beautiful women would catch husbands.
Mm-hmm.
Of good, you know, good money, good standing, good title. So she never pushed any sort of business arrangement like, you need to do this because we need more land, or we need more money, or we want to be closer to the queen, or anything like that. She really did just want her daughter to be happy, but with a titled person, right? Like with someone who would have enough money to keep her in the living and lifestyle that she was used to. And that is why Lord Greer became an option, because her lifestyle was dwindling, I think, due to Lord Cowper losing money in the ruby mine fraud. So they were willing to take what they could get at that point, because she'd been out for 3 years and they really couldn't afford to keep her anymore. Because women were basically, they weren't allowed to work, they weren't allowed to do anything, they were just burdens on their men. Father, then husband.
They weren't burdens. They were livestock.
They were livestock, yeah. They basically were baby factories.
You feed them and you sell them on to the highest bidder.
And they ran the house. The guy only handled the money and the estates. So he dealt with the renters, the tenants, the investments, and the wife ran the house. Like, she was in charge of hiring and firing and things like that. So, I mean, she did work some, and she planned all the entertainment. No man
I think
planned
the women
entertainment.
Were very much like Emily Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls. And she made an excellent point when Richard was like, you think that I'm just a housewife that just, buys new decorations for the house and spends your money. And she made the point of, who do you think is the one who hosts all the parties in which your bonds were made, in which your business dealings were secured? Who's the one who goes out to have brunches with the wives and entertains them and makes them happy, who then goes home to their husbands and says, hey, I made an excellent connection. You should meet the husband. He deals in this. That would be a great opportunity for you. As much as you can denote them down to just saying, hey, women were just running the household, they also weren't. They were making connections in ways that the men couldn't. Because, let's be real, men did not form, and even today, like, men often say that they struggle to make meaningful, lifelong friends in the way that women do, because they are not as talkative, emotional, present as what
Wives
women are.
were the networking. They were in charge of networking.
Yeah.
Like, my boss is coming home for dinner with me today. Make sure you make something good. The kids better be clean and well dressed. You know what I mean? Like, that was your typical 50s, 60s wife dealing with that. But that's basically, Araminta could have forced a lot more on her. Like, yes, she did introduce Araminta to the Duke. She did introduce Araminta to the Prince. But her goal was mainly for Araminta to be happy in the beginning, I believe. It was never about business. It wasn't about gaining land, gaining anything. It was about status, because they are elitists. The Cowpers are very much elitists.
Well, I think it looked really badly upon them. Well, they thought it looked really badly upon them, because our daughter is beautiful and she comes from good title. So what about my daughter is not worth marrying?
And she had a huge dowry.
Exactly. So there's no reason why she shouldn't have been married. And so they're like, okay, well then obviously we've raised her in some sort of way that people don't want to marry her.
It was her fault. Yeah.
So then they look at, she's associating with that Bridgerton girl. They're going to look for anything external rather than look at, hey, maybe it's our personalities that people don't want to marry into.
Araminta is very, very narcissistic. Everything is somebody else's fault. Like, even when Lord Cowper, or when she left Eloise to talk to Cressida and they came back, you can hear Araminta go, but I told her. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like she's the mother and the daughter. It's like he reprimands her like a child also, his own wife. You know what I mean?
I will give Araminta this one out. And I've just kind of thought of this. If Araminta had been seen to being complicit and her husband genuinely thought that maybe Araminta and Cressida had been Lady Whistledown together, right? He is the kind of proud man that I think would actually annul the marriage over such a slight in his eyes.
He can't annul it. They have a child. You can only annul a marriage that has had no consummation.
I thought that there was some other, like, if they
He could put her out. A man was allowed to divorce. It was highly unheard of, but a man could put his wife out. He could have sent her to the country. Like,
I honestly think that he would have divorced her had it come out that she was actually Lady Whistledown. And I wonder if that was part of the reason why she acted the way that she did towards Cressida.
I mean, I think in the end, she thought she was doing what was best for Cressida. Like, I have to stay here so I can try and get you back in society. I think she thought, but ultimately, she didn't analyze her actions enough to realize she was being very selfish. That mothers sacrifice for their children. She sacrificed nothing.
I do not like Araminta Cowper, but I did see moments of genuine care for her daughter. I do think she's a narcissist, so I don't know if I want to use the word love, but you can see moments where she truly wants what's best for her daughter.
She sympathized with her daughter on a couple of occasions, like when her daughter said she was scared about Whistledown business.
Yeah.
But the list of her transgressions is so much longer that there wasn't enough in her behaviors to recommend her. From the very beginning of her daughter being introduced on the ton, she isolated her so that she could not have friendships.
Yes.
Because they're so high up and they're so elitist, and her mother taught her that every woman in the ton that was seeking a husband is competition. It caused Cressida to be very isolated. And because her parents were so elitist, it caused people, like, they brought her up to treat people in a very, like, art of war way. Like, how she treated Penelope was machinations to make herself look better than Penelope to try and snag the guy in front of them. It had nothing to do with Penelope. Nothing.
Yeah.
Cressida didn't have any real, animosity towards Penelope until Colin took her to the dance floor instead.
Because if she were truly believing her mum's words of everyone is your enemy, we would have seen her doing those very snide kind of acts towards Daphne, not Penelope. The person who she thought was her real competition was Daphne, always from the get-go. If you thought Penelope wasn't truly your competition, why are you trying to lower someone's opinion who you already think of the lowest? Why would you lower that rather than going after the person who you think is truly your competition?
Because in the moment with Colin, I think she really did feel like Penelope was competition because of Penelope and Colin's relationship.
Yes, but you know what I'm saying? Like, overall,
in terms of Debbling, Penelope only tried. She did the exact same thing like she did in season 1, except she tore her dress. Because Debbling approached Penelope first.
Yes.
In Cressida's mind, that gives elevation to Penelope to be...
She sees it as a slight.
It's if Penelope was not truly a competitor, Debbling would have found her first. He wouldn't have walked directly up to Penelope. Because of these, she found Penelope talking to Colin, so she dumped her drink on her dress. These were not an I hate Penelope movement. It was... I'm trying to gain this man's attention. I think I can, get him to laugh about this with me. She was taught a form of bullying as competition. You have to make the other person look bad. It's kind of like politics. I personally hate... I will not vote for someone whose campaign is only negative stuff about the other guy.
A smear campaign.
I want to hear what you plan on doing. I want to hear what your policies are. Yeah, I want to see at least one freaking ad or commercial where you're saying, this is what I stand for, and you don't mention your competition at all. If I only hear you badmouth your competition, I'm not voting for you.
Taylor Swift for president.
She probably would win. I think in a minute, if she was on the ballot, she would win.
I honestly think she would too. I mean, also made herself $2 billion by 36 years old.
Yeah, all those people that say running the government is like running a business. Right. It's not, but okay.
Let's move on now to talk a little bit about Araminta Gunn / Lady Penwood. Okay, so I actually came up with 2 positives. I know, shock horror. First positive was nice and easy. Girl knows how to slay a black outfit like nobody's business.
That has nothing to do with being a mother.
No, it does, because you need to know how to... I mean, it absolutely does. Have you seen how Portia dresses her daughters?
Yes, but how she dresses herself is not anything. Because we could say the same thing about Araminta Cowper. She's fashionable for her age group.
Then I will say this then. Despite the fact that she has a very, very clear favorite daughter, she dresses both daughters impeccably. I do not see a difference between Posey and not Posey.
Rosamund?
Posey and not
Posey and not Posey. We know what your favorite is.
Pick who my favorite is, yeah. Like, I cannot differentiate. Like, if you said to me, look at both girls and pick which one is her favorite, just based on the clothing, I could not. So as much as she has a very, very clear favorite, she dresses both daughters impeccably, as well as herself. So I will give her props for that one thing. Like, honestly, I think that she's one of the best dressed characters. For someone that we don't like, she dresses phenomenal. They did an amazing job at taking Cho Chang, who she's forever going to be Cho Chang to us.
She's Cho Chang.
And it was so hard for us to see her as, because realistically, the demographic that is now watching Bridgerton was the demographic who grew up with Harry Potter. So for them to change her from being Cho Chang in our eyes to now being Araminta Gunn, they had to do something pretty drastic, and I think they executed that phenomenally. Crap, where's my whole screen just went white. I was like, ugh.
Well, and I think they did a really good job with her, because since she was wearing black the whole time, the materials they used, you know, because some of them were like a satin, so they had a sheen to them where the light bounced off them in a different way. The intricacies of the embellishments, they did a really good job with her wardrobe. Like, you can tell this lady had chosen black for many a year.
Yeah.
And the seamstresses that worked on her clothing were like, I've got to make this pretty because it's just black.
Mm-hmm.
And they
added a lot of texture and like a lot of embellishment to it. Yeah. Absolute props to the props department, like the costume department, because they do something that I've just never seen before, like on time and time again, like even background characters you look at, and there is so much attention to detail in those dresses. And I'm just constantly blown away by what they create.
Well, when we get to the wedding, when we actually analyze the wedding, the hours put into costuming, I'm talking about the hours put into costuming, because it's insanity.
A single dress can take hundreds of hours to put together, which is just mind-blowing to think about. Okay, so my second positive point that I do have for Araminta is a little bit like Araminta Cowper. I believe that she would do anything to get what she wants for her daughters. And I do say it that way because I don't think she would do anything for her daughters, because that is very much saying that she would give up everything for her daughters, that she would allow her daughters to marry below their station. Like, she would do anything to get what she wants for her daughters. Right. So it's kind of a backhanded compliment there, because it's very much saying it's only what she wants goes. Only what she wants.
Yeah, and that was literally all I had written down for Araminta Cowper, was she's very ambitious for her daughter, but it's her ambition. It's not necessarily Cressida's.
No, and you could tell that even with Posey, she was so excited when Benedict came to call upon her, not because she was interested in him, but because she was just happy that someone was listening to her for the first time in her life, and he showed her kindness. And you could tell that she didn't have like a connection with him other than, I really enjoy his company, like in a friendship kind of way, like a very like he's a big brother kind of vibe, which I thought was really sweet. And I'm glad that they didn't do a season 2 where they had Teresa. Why?
Edwina.
My brain is not braining. I spent 5 minutes looking for my car keys the other day that I'd put in my pocket ready to leave and I could not find.
Well, I wore a little spring jacket the other day and I put my keys in it. I could feel my keys, but I couldn't figure out how to get to them. Turns out the way I put my jacket on, like the inside pocket was poking out, because, you know, when you put it on, it kind of catches on your arms and you got to tuck it down the back.
Yeah.
So I'd put my keys in the inside pocket, not the outside pocket.
Yeah.
And I was struggling for almost 5 minutes to get them out of my jacket.
Twinsies.
Jesus.
2 peas in a pod. So I love that they didn't. I love they didn't repeat season 2 where they had Edwina show interest in Anthony more than what they did in the book, because in the book she did have interest in him, but she did not. But Daddy, I love him. Like, there was none of that kind of bullshit. So I'm glad that they didn't have Posey kind of entertain any sort of feelings towards Benedict, because I feel like that would have cheapened when he does get with Sophie. Not that that's what this conversation is about. But I just wanted to kind of throw that little
I think Posey
caveat.
in that moment, I don't feel like Posey believes she's ready to get married yet. But I think she's excited that somebody took notice of her, because when she does stand in a group with her mother and Rosamond, she is put down. She is introduced in a way that's different. She doesn't get to speak, or she gets admonished for speaking.
Yes.
So I think she was just glad somebody showed up for her.
And kind of like we were saying about Cressida and Penelope before, she didn't do it in a snide way, but I think that she was so excited that for once in her life, she was chosen over her sister. And it wasn't in a snarky, ha ha ha, he chose me over you. It's a somebody saw me. And I think that was a really nice feeling for her, especially because going into the cons now, unlike Lady Featherington, Portia pits her daughters against each other. And what I think is actually worse than pitting your daughters against each other is saying, you're not even worth pitting against Rosamond. You cannot compete. Right. Rosamond is the one and only. Like, I think that is actually worse. And that is why we have Araminta versus Araminta, or not Araminta versus Portia, because I do genuinely believe that these two mums are actually far exceeding Portia's level of petty, because we know that at the end of the day, Portia almost exclusively loves her daughters, even if she's a bit
And I view it like this. It comes down to background, because Portia did abuse her daughters at some times, but ultimately she had her daughter's best interests at heart.
She gave up wealth in a potential love match. I mean, it wasn't a love match, but a potential love match for her daughters. She chose her daughters over
she sacrificed for her daughters.
Yes. And that's the difference. And these two mums will throw their daughters under the bus to get what they want.
Yeah, straight up. I wrote that Araminta Cowper consistently throws Cressida under the bus to save the family. Her and her husband are the family. Cressida is an extension. She is not inner circle. And she gets thrown under the bus all the time.
Because Cressida's never going to bring her money.
The hunting suitors thing. She tells Cressida who to go talk to. She doesn't go introduce her. Like, we know that Violet is present. Violet is present with Daphne. Violet is present with Francesca. She escorts them around. Araminta will stand next to Cressida or behind her, but she doesn't introduce. She doesn't, you got the mamas that are like, oh, tell him about how you play the piano forte, or things like that. Araminta doesn't do that at all. She goes, he's got tons of money and a lot of land, and pushes her back and pushes her toward him. She has no guidance. Araminta doesn't guide her at all. And then walking her into that, crashing that ball, making her wear bright ass harlot red as Lady Whistledown, playing into the scandal of it all for optics.
Do you notice that in season 4 we do not see Araminta? We see Cressida in multiple scenes. She throws a ball. Was her mother present at said ball? I think that Cressida got sent off to the country. She found her husband. She found some self-worth. She realized how her mother had been treating her, and how maybe she has a mother-in-law now that treats her in a way that she realizes, my mother wasn't treating me in the way that a mother should. Because you know how sometimes, like, you grow up and they say children love you no matter how you treat them, and it's not until they get older that they actually realize, like, children just blindly think that you are their superheroes. And that's a beautiful thing, but it's also dangerous because many people take advantage of that. Both Aramintas included. But I think Cressida is now out of her mother's control enough to realize how her mother had been treating her, how she'd been pitting her against society and basically everyone, because she wasn't allowed to have friendships with males because they're the opposite gender and they can get you pregnant and ruin your reputation. She wasn't allowed to have friends with females because they were your competition. So who did she have? No one. And she realized her mum had isolated her whole entire life, and now she had the opportunity to grow her circle. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that now that she realized that, I think she's like, hey, I could save my mum from my dad and have her come live here. I'm not going to do that. She made her bed. She can lie in it.
Exactly. I think that because her and Eloise, when Eloise shows up so that Sophie can look for the will, they mention her mother.
Yes.
And you can tell just by the look on her face that it's like,
lady.
She's kind of dead to her. She's like, I lived through that. I have this life now. You know what I mean? Like, that was her traumatic past, and now she's healed and she's in her, pink Barbie era.
Barbie era.
Yeah, right. I would love to find out if the new Lord Penwood's first name is Ken.
I would actually die of happiness.
Please be Lord Kenneth Penwood. I need it.
Yes. I actually feel like I wonder if they actually have his name listed online.
I don't know.
Young Lord.
They never mention it. They never mention it in the show, so.
Richard Gunn. God damn it.
Dang it. His first
Such
name's
a missed
Dick.
opportunity, guys.
His name's Dick.
I
Dick
actually
Gunn.
had to.
If anything tells you that this is a lavender marriage, her husband's name is Dick Gunn.
He's gunning for it.
We're going down.
Swirled around.
So I want to talk about how these mothers are the same because they are so critical. They're ridiculously critical of their daughters.
I still
Not
have
so much
more
Rosamund.
pros, cons, but we'll get through them.
Well, I'm in cons only for Cowper at this point. It's
Okay,
cons
cool,
only.
Cool.
But I figured since I'm talking about her being critical, both Aramintas are super critical
Yes.
of their non-favorite daughter, which Cowper only has one. But I mean, it cut me. Cressida is definitely that character that you love to hate. Like, we love to hate Cressida. Until season 3 at the full moon ball when these debutantes are trying to bow deeper for the queen. And Araminta just turns to Cressida and goes, if your curtsy would have been deep enough in your first season out, I would have slapped my mother. I'd have slapped her hard. I'd have been like, you give me no guidance. You tell me what to do and push me out there and I have to figure it out for myself. If you'd have shown me how to curtsy deep enough.
It's actually not. You tell me what to do. It's you tell me the expectations after you watch me fail.
Well, I'm thinking along the lines of Debling. Like when she's telling her to go talk to Debling in the one ball where he talks up Penelope in the corner afterwards and he says he feels hunted.
Yeah.
And they have that whole conversation about predator and prey. And she said she'd prefer to be predator. That's what her mother's making her be. Like, her mother's like, go talk to him and pushes her. She should be walking up to him and introducing him to her daughter. That is etiquette.
You know what? I've just kind of had when you said hunting, I then envisioned both Aramintas going hunting. And then it gave me the mental image of
Kate
going, thank you, Kate going hunting. And then I realized that Araminta is what Kate could have become if she let the armor
Cowper, not Gunn.
No, I think Gunn.
You think if she would have had multiple children, she would have treated... Think about who she was.
Yeah.
She was the daughter of a merchant, a clerk. So she would have never treated Sophie so differently.
That's true. No, that's true.
So I think Cowper for sure.
Okay, but I mean, I think Cowper has more barb to her where, like, I find that the personalities, cruelty aside, but that strong female lead like character in both Kate and Penwood are quite similar, as in like they are boss bitches. Like as much as we dislike Penwood, she's a boss bitch. I will give her that much. Yeah. She carries herself with a certain elegance and a certain like power. Like she exudes power. Yeah. Like when when someone walks into the room,
what's it, Miranda or whatever from Devil.
She's a Miranda. Yeah. Yeah, and I love Simone Ashley like talking about how she like came up with the character for Devil Wears Prada, and she's like, make her bitchy but likable. And she's like, okay, which character, like which kind of character, TV, whatever movie treads that kind of balance well. I don't remember who it was. I forgot.
I didn't see that interview at all.
I think it was only yesterday that it was done.
Okay, pause 1 second. Okay. I took one bite of popcorn at the beginning of this and had popcorn seed stuff.
Yeah, that kills me.
And it was starting to get on my ever-loving nerves.
Okay, one of my biggest cons for Penwood is the fact that she prioritizes herself above her daughters. Like, it is very, very much
the same.
Yes. Which one do you think does it to a worse extent, though?
I think that's hard.
I wanted to say Penwood because I do view her as more evil, but actually we saw Cowper throw her daughter under the bus. Going to the Queen, she pushed her daughter in front. Take her. She's yours. Do what you want with her. Punish her.
You're walking up to the Queen on your own. And then coming into the Wallflower Ball, she made Cressida dress up in bright red, and she still wore elegant, appropriate colors for a nighttime soiree.
Because she was differentiating themselves. She was separating herself from her daughter.
I mean, at worst comes to worst, she's like a dance mom. You know,
oh my God. She would be the mom who gave her daughter tapeworm to make her skinnier.
Yeah, like a pageant mom. She's like a pageant mom so much.
Yeah.
Araminta Calperoos. But I also think she prioritizes herself because as the money is reducing, the money that they take away it gets taken away from Cressida. Now, she did say the clothing budget was going to reduce. You could have to wear this dress again, like we could have to wear these dresses again. But her dress is better styled. And even though she's trying to help Cressida find a suitor, she's the one who's telling the seamstress how to make that dress. And she's got those ridiculous arms. And shoulders and all that stuff. So it's no different than Portia dressing Penelope in the worst color yellow for her skin.
She's basically preparing her daughter for a match of Gladiator, just using shoulders.
Right. Like, I'm going to find you a linebacker.
I used to love watching Gladiator where they had those big, like, ear, what do you call them? The ear things, like, they used to, like, pow with, and then they'd fall off. And
like, we're gonna find you a real bull because we're gonna make you like the biggest target in the room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like she paraded her daughter around. Like Cressida herself announced she was Whistledown in a small group of people. It was a small engagement party, mostly family. Then Araminta used that and spread it and walked her into a ball they were not invited to that the queen was present at.
Yes.
Like, she killed her own daughter's reputation. All this worrying and admonishing her and preparing her to protect her reputation, and you have to, and protect their reputation. She's the one who made all those choices to have her daughter do those things. Her daughter's telling her, I don't know what to do now. What do we do now? And her mom's like, we stand here with our heads held high until the queen calls us over. She's getting all of her direction from her mother, and her mother is the one who ruined her relationship or her reputation and then sent her away. Like, you are a pariah now. We can't have you here. But she created that pariah herself.
You know, I've just realized was such a missed opportunity. So you know how in season 3, Penelope comes back. Well, not comes back because it's in the first episode we see the change. But where Portia stops stressing her and she starts stressing herself. And that's kind of like, I'm no longer taking my mom's advice. I'm going to do me, boo. I know that Cressida is obviously the pink queen, right? But I do wish that she had come back this season with a much more demure style, like a much softer style in both clothing and in hairstyle to show the differentiation of, I may be my mother's daughter, but I'm now making my own choices and I don't want to be that. I wish they gave her that.
I think that's part of her character development, though. I think that she finally got married, so she finally gets to run her own household, but because of the authoritarian way in which she was raised, she still hasn't discovered who she is yet. She is still the presentation of what her parents created. She just now gets to surround herself in pink because pink is the one thing she does know about herself, right? And I hope that her and Eloise maintain their friendship because I think Eloise, being as singularly authentic as she is, would help Cressida discover who she is.
Yeah. It was just like, because obviously Bridgerton is so big on the visuals and how visuals represent the changes in people. I just thought that was kind of a missed opportunity there that they could have gone with. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The
crimes they committed against their children.
The crime that someone committed that goes against literal human rights of the time. And the fact that
there's multiple. I think both mothers committed crimes that go against human rights.
I don't think anything else can quite compare to slavery of a child.
For sure, but Cressida was technically kidnapped and held hostage in her own home, and we only see her receiving a tea tray. We don't know if she's eating.
To be honest, I do not compare that because 2026, we still have kids getting grounded. Like, that's just a normal kind of punishment, getting grounded in your own household. She's under 18. Oh, no, she is 18.
You're not allowed to lock a child in their room. She has they have a chamber pot in there. But, like, she does not have access herself to eat when she is hungry. She has to wait for someone to bring it to her. And I'm not saying this makes it any worse than slavery, but I think they both committed crimes against human rights. Because in the US, if you barricade someone in a room, that's kidnapping. Even if it's in their own house, it is a kidnapping charge. You don't have to pick someone up away from their house and take them away from their house for it to be kidnapping. If you lock them or barricade them in a room and keep them from free use of the home they live in, that's kidnapping. And they were holding her hostage. I mean, was she in a basement? No. Was she in her room with a luxurious bed? And I mean, this is 1815. How luxurious is that bed? It's still straw tick or feathers. But I mean, it's not a memory foam or anything like that. You know, she still has access to her dresses and things like that. But again, she only gets to eat when they send a servant with food for her. We don't know how they're rationing her food or her water. We have to think about all of that. That's still, because they found her out of her room. And then when she got in trouble again, they were locking the door. You heard the servant unlock the door to bring in the tea tray.
Yeah. I mean, neither is great, but I don't think anything can compare to keeping a slave of a child. Because she was, what, 16 when her father died?
She was 14.
Yes. So a child, like anything under 18 is a child. Like they had her literally be a slave. The only saving grace is the fact that they obviously did keep her well fed, because in the books, Benedict no longer recognized her when he re-met her the 2 years later, because from when she'd left the home, she'd lost a dramatic amount of weight and therefore he no longer recognized her. You know, she changed her hair and lost a lot of weight. So obviously she is
money. She wasn't eating properly, so she'd lost a lot of weight. Yeah.
So obviously she is, the one saving grace is she is well fed at Penwood House. But like you can even tell with how like...
But that's because the kitchen staff.
Because the kitchen staff.
The servant in the kitchen loves her like a mother.
Yes.
And made sure she was fed and made sure she was taken care of. Like,
yes.
Lady Penwood treated her like the worst of servants. I mean... We know from Lady Whistledown in the book and in the show that she was doing the work of poor people.
I'm pretty sure she complained in the book or the show. I can't remember which one. I know there was a complaint somewhere about the cost of feeding Sophie. And it's like, seriously, you're going to complain about that when you're not even paying her, which was highly illegal. Like that is the kind of thing that she could have had her title stripped for. Like even dowager title would have been stripped for doing such an act, having unpaid slavery of a child. Not that they really differentiate, like back then 14 and up was probably not considered a child by their standards. I don't know.
So she was getting 4,000 pounds herself if she just took her own two daughters, but she would gain an extra 2,000 pounds if she took on Sophie to take care of her like her own child. She chose not to do that. She treated her like a servant and didn't pay her. So 6,000 pounds. So people have an idea of what that actually is in today money.
To, yeah. It's like $1 million or something.
It's 693,000 to 725,000 pounds today because of fluctuation.
Yeah, which is over $1 million New Zealand. Well over.
Yeah, so she's making 700,000 pounds a year and still complaining about feeding Sophie, who's doing the work of 4 servants, who is ultimately saving her the wages of 4 because she's not getting paid at all. She has room and board, but she's made no pin money. Like there's no allowance or pin money associated with her position as the other servants would have had. Because that's where the maid wars came from. The maid wars do not come from room and board. The maid wars come from the actual money you make for your job outside of room and board, because every servant lived in the house that they worked for.
Yes.
And they were fed from the house that they worked for. The difference in why you would move from house to house is money.
Well, not just that, because my next point was the mistreatment of staff. Now, granted, we don't actually see the way that the Cowpers treat their staff, but who do you think would treat their staff worse? We don't hear about the maid wars happening prior to Penwood moving into the place. So I think that the Cowpers don't be seen, don't be heard, and we won't have problems. Like, I think that they are just your kind of run-of-the-mill. Like, I think they will look down upon their staff. They will never treat them like family, like, or even treat them kindly in any sort of way. But I do think that they're just...
They don't treat them kindly.
I think it would very much be, get on with your job, do a good job, I'll pay you fairly fine, like, And that's
Yeah,
about it.
Lord Cowper yells. Pretty sure he yells at a footman. And for that servant, when she opens the door with the tea, and Cressida is like, I need your help. And she looks desperate. That girl immediately is like, yes, miss. You know?
Yeah.
Like, they know. Like, I think the servants are not treated well either. But Araminta Gunn came into Mayfair and said, hold my beer. Hold my wine. Hold my lemonade. Whatever.
However bad, yeah. Hold my NyQuil. She looks like a NyQuil kind of a girl.
Hold my laud.
Yeah.
However bad you think you have it in any other house, even the Cowpers, nothing compares to Penwood House.
I mean, Araminta Cowper is like the shining star of a Xanax mum.
Right.
She is the poster child, the poster mother.
Well, yeah, like Mansfield Park, which you haven't seen, the lady of the house is addicted to laudanum.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yeah, liquid opiate. She has to take it several times a day because she gets the vapors, or, you know, she's of a sensitive constitution, blah, 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 but she's addicted to it. Yeah. She's your typical lady who lunches kind of thing. But what I think is funny, and I think the reason they wanted, how they helped us see just how bad Araminta is like even in season 3 when Penn as Whistledown talks about the one lady who dismisses her maid for having the audacity to ask for a full day off. Like, we're like, clutch my pearls. And then we see Sophie getting up before the household, going to sleep after everyone else is asleep, literally only getting 2 to 4 hours of sleep a night, if she's lucky. And still, and doing all of her own thing for herself.
Long term, yeah.
Yeah, that's long-term functioning. And she doesn't get to do anything for herself, make her own clothes, fix her own clothes.
Girl is for sure getting.
Girl is for sure going to have autoimmune. I mean, good thing Benedict has money. That's extensive cortisol for an extended period of time. Yeah. And she's going to have PTSD so bad.
Yeah. It was also a lady that lunches, though. So let's not throw the insults around too much.
Well, no. Ladies Who Lunch is from a Broadway musical, and it is women who get together at lunch, but they drink their lunch.
Oh, I mean, I was going to say, I do drink my lunch. It's coffee. Because coffee is a suitable replacement for meals.
Coffee. Like, my grandma came from the Ladies Who Lunch era, and I'll tell you, she lived with my dad, and I lived with him for a few months. And noon, every day at noon. Mind you, she's super retired, okay? This was like, I think she passed away like 6 years later. So this is 6 years before she died. So she was 76, 75, 76 when I lived with her. But every day at noon, shaking her martini bottle or her martini shaker. I
don't know if you know this, Patty, but I'm cool to the teenagers now, apparently.
Oh, are you?
Marina had her birthday party last weekend and there was a sleepover here, and the teenagers are like, oh my God, like, you're a podcaster and you get to be a stay-at-home mom and you can cook all this amazing food and your house is so beautiful. Like, how did you get this life? And I'm like, I don't know. I cook good and I'm funny. It just came to me.
Right? I have everything except technically I'm a stay-at-home mom now.
You hear
only
that, kiddies?
Until I find something else.
You're so lucky. You gotta cook up gourmet
Daisy
food.
And Seymour.
Gotta cook up gourmet meals for Daisy and Seymour.
No, I haven't been able to cook anything. I have ordered food every meal since this occurred because I'm still like, I need my wallow period.
Fair. All right, let's talk about the other illegal acts that these mothers pull. I was going to say...
separate from illegal, I want to talk about Araminta Gunn and how badly she gaslights Posey and tricks Posey. Like, this is a good example of two kids being raised, and I feel like Araminta Gunn is more borderline personality than narcissistic because she splits and she has decided that Sophie is evil. That's usually a sign of borderline personality disorder, different from
because she was the thing that was standing in the way of her ideal life that she had created in her mind.
Narcissists they do blame others for everything because they don't want to look into themselves and hold themselves accountable. But someone with actual borderline personality disorder, they do what's called splitting. You are either an incredible angel who helps them all the time, or you are the most evil POS they've ever known. And she has split, and Sophie's evil.
Mm.
You know, Sophie can do nothing right in her eyes. She's just an evil being simply for being born, because she was in the home that she married into thinking she was giving her daughters a better life, and she was just present and less than. And
Because
then
she didn't want her daughters.
Her husband had the audacity to offer her more money to take care of her.
It was still in a way that was protective, as in her daughters could have been seen as lesser than for being associated with a bastard.
Yes and no. We saw Marina come to the Featherington house to be sponsored for the season as a family member.
But she wasn't a bastard.
Nobody knew Sophie was a bastard except the servants.
But she knew. And that was the problem. Yeah. In her mind. I'm not saying in reality, I'm saying in her mind, because they twist these things to be bigger than what they are.
And I think what the biggest evil is, and what really set it off for her, was the fact that he left the exact same amount of dowry for all three girls.
Because it made them seem equal when, in her mind, her daughters were elevated because they were not bastards, despite the fact that they weren't his. They were still better than. So how could my daughters get the equal amount to a bastard?
Correct.
I feel like I've said that word too many times, and it seems inappropriate, even though it's a legal term.
Literally the term.
Yeah.
You can say byblow. In the books, they say byblow.
Yeah.
Choose.
One of the biggest issues I have with the book adaptation is the fact that they changed the story from Posey coming forward and saying that she was the one. And I feel like we really, really needed that scene, not to differentiate Sophie from being different from, not to differentiate Posey from being different from her sister, because we already knew she was different. But the fact that we needed to see Posey actually stand up to her mother and stand up for Sophie when she
changed it from the shoe clips to the $18,000 when she asked told her dowry specifically to Rosamond, 18,000 pounds, what's yours? And made Rosamond say, because then what we get there that we didn't get in the book, and I think that's the reason they chose to do it this way, is that now Rosamond also looks at her mother with different eyes.
Because did we ever find out what Posey's dowry was, or just that it was lesser than?
It's 18,000 pounds. All three girls got 18,000 pounds.
No. But you know how I think that 18,000 pounds was including Sophie's. Like she had put that dowry towards Rosamond's. That was kind of the insinuation that I took from it.
But Rosamond's was double. What Posey was saying was her dowry was 18,000.
And Rosamond's was
36. Hers was 36, yeah.
So that's because it was one of those undeniable, my mum, which you would think if you thought that Rosamond was the catch, you would think that you would have a higher dowry for Posey because people would need more incentive to marry her.
Well, most wills, most legal documents, actually every daughter potentially could have the same dowry. I think in terms of like the Bridgertons, they would throw more dowry at the oldest to guarantee she married well to help the youngers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But in terms of, they knew that she had nothing to do with the will, right? Because it was their stepfather. None of these girls were this man's children. I mean, Sophie was, but she wasn't recognized. These other two girls were stepchildren. So all of them had a reason not to be recognized by him. And he recognized all of them equally. And that says that the real problem here is Araminta and how she views the children, because she stole Sophie's dowry, made Sophie be a servant, when that is not how Lord Penwood wanted her to be treated, right?
Yes.
And the girls are just now finding this out, Posey and Rosamond. So I think having Posey stand up and say, mine's 18,000, what's yours, was to make Lady Penwood look worse. Well, Araminta Gunn now, because we have a new Lady Penwood, you know, was to make her look worse by having Rosamond also see that she screwed up, that she did something out of hatred.
Well, and this is one of the other parts that I felt incredibly bad for Posey, was when she realized that Rosamond was also complicit in that, like, hey, we're going out to go do this and you can stay at home and read, and we're not going to keep eyes on you at all. The fact that Rosamond was actually like in that inner circle of like her mum and sister both, like the fact that her mum made Rosamond complicit in that act, and the fact that she was the odd one out in her own household, again, just like Penelope, she was the black sheep of the family. It's not like Sophie was the black sheep, but she was also marred.
But that's what I was saying. Like, this is a
laughing
classic.
My funnies. They're so funny.
Because I realized that I started a point and didn't finish it. This is the classic example of two kids being brought up by the same terrible, toxic parent, but having two different outcomes.
Yeah.
Rosamond still sees her mother as a good person who's just trying to do her best, and Sophie's the problem.
I don't think that she sees her mum as a good person. I think she sees her mum as a good ally.
Well, she sees her mom as a boss bitch.
Yeah.
That's what she sees her mom as. And she wants to be a boss bitch. So she sees her mom in a good light. Posey, who's not treated as bad as Sophie, but still treated
poorly,
bad, can see her mother for what she is. And so she's a little more in alignment with Sophie because Sophie has been kind to her where they have not been. So it's like you have your three outcomes of a toxic parenting. You know, Sophie is fully traumatized, CPTSD for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Posey's in the middle. She's that kid that just, you know, she'll go no contact with her mom eventually. That kind of kid, right?
Yeah.
She'll go no contact, and Rosamond will probably stay with.
I think the second that she got married, she's like, all right, I'm outies. See you on the streets, player.
I know. I think she was like, I want a really short engagement. Let's just get this done.
Well, I mean, it was really short for the fact that they got married before Benedict and Sophie could.
Because she was standing with him and sitting with him at the wedding.
Because realistically, they should have still been on their honeymoon. And this is why we talk about those continuity errors of season 4.
Yeah, but we don't know. We know Lord Barnaby is a lord. We don't know his title, his money, his estate. He could be a lesser lord, not have a lot of money. They wouldn't have gone on an extended honeymoon. They might not have had the money for it.
Yeah.
But speaking of that wedding, I just want to point out something really quick that I saw on the internet that I've only seen this episode one time.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't gone back to like look at things and look for details yet.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody was talking about Lord Anderson and Violet's relationship and, you know, what is it really over? Did he move on? You know, kind of thing. He was not at that wedding.
That's a good point.
Not at all.
Was Lady Danbury?
I don't think so. I think Lady Danbury had already gone on her travels. You know what I mean?
That's what I was thinking.
I kind of think we're going to find out that he went with her, and that's why his son ends up coming back.
That's what I was kind of wondering as well.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Maybe the son also comes back with that friend, the Lord Swallow.
I mean, they could be his friends.
Yeah. All right. I think that we have wrapped up. Okay. Final question for the day.
Theft. Okay. First, did we really talk about theft? We talked about slavery.
Not really.
I mean, she stole from Sophie 2,000 pounds a year for like 7 years.
14,000
pounds.
Not to mention,
dowry.
So that's 14,000 plus 18,000. That's 32,000. Not to mention, I wonder what the average worker earned. Probably not much per year, but still, what would the average house made in 1800?
Let's talk about the slander and the libel, because she told people not to hire Sophie, told people Sophie stole from her.
So they only earned about 20 to 30 pounds per year.
Yeah, but they didn't need that much back then. Think about what 20 to 30 pounds is today, and you don't have to pay rent or utilities or...
No, but I'm saying that she also stole that amount because she didn't pay it to Sophie.
Right.
But still, that's still 32 and a bit thousand pounds to today's equivalent, which would be probably like $10 million.
And she slandered her name. She committed libel. She told people not to hire her, told them she stole from her, publicly told people. So like, yeah, she's, in my opinion, she's the worst mom. Like, she is the worst Araminta. She is the worst mom. And I don't think she really has much remorse for it. I don't think she holds any remorse for the way she raised her children.
Okay, let's put in 1800. I'm curious now. Let's say 1810, because that was when it started. 32,000. No, I want to know. In 2017, this would be approximately worth 1.5 mil.
Yeah, she stole $1.5 million from this girl, committed slander, committed lie.
Inflation calculator.
In the book,
Thank you.
In the book, she locked her in the closet with the shoes. You know what I mean? And she kicked her out of the house with nothing. The servants had to give her money, and Posey gave her the shoe clips.
Yes, which is why I think we just needed that, that it wasn't ever Sophie that actually stole them.
I think that in a magistrate's chambers, they would have never let Posey speak. And that's why, Posey would have never, because they moved the conversation from the actual jail cell to the magistrate's chambers, the court. It makes it different of how it would operate. But it would have been funny if they would have made it seem like, you stole from Sophie, and she said, well, she stole from me, and Posey goes, no, Mama, I did.
Well, and because that was how it happened in the book, and then the magistrate or the jailer was like, well, are you going to arrest your daughter? And it's like, don't be silly.
Like, are you going to duel your own brother? Are you going to arrest your own daughter?
Okay, I want to finish off with this question on that fact, on that kind of tidbit. Let's say we had 1815 gladiator style. Who do you think would win out of the Aramintas? The literal battle of the Aramintas, who do you think would win?
Which gladiator? I think it would really depend on the activity. Like that one that's
like the ear
over
cleaner,
the water with the...
Yeah. The ear cleaner kind of...
Oh, yeah, that looks like a Q-tip.
Yeah. I don't know how else to describe it. People surely get the visual.
Okay, so...
I have my answer, but I'll see what yours is.
I think Araminta Gunn would win.
Yeah.
Because I think she's a do whatever it takes.
Yes.
I think that Araminta Cowper is used to things just coming her way because of her status and her stature.
I think she's a little bit more prissy, and she'd bump, Gunn would bump. And I mean, her name is Gunn. Okay. The girl's a fighter.
Here's what I think would happen. I think, they're announcing the gladiator, Araminta versus Araminta, and they have to walk out there. Araminta Gunn comes out. She's ready to go. She's looking badass. And then Araminta Cowper's like, Cressida? She makes Cressida volunteer as tribute to do it for her.
Okay. Let's go down one step then. Rosamund versus Cressida.
Cressida all day.
You reckon?
Yes, because Rosamund is the more prissy of the two.
Yes.
I think that Cressida is prissy because her mom makes her be prissy. I think in the end, if she fell in a lake or whatever, she'd laugh about it, whereas Rosamund would struggle. So I think Cressida would be taking you out. And Cressida's the kind she's the do whatever it takes. She would tear your skirt or pour some champagne down your bodice. So.
I kind of like this game. So final one, Posey versus Philippa.
They knock each other both over.
They would both fall.
It's a tie.
And then they would fall to the ground giggling like little girls.
And they'd come up best friends. They would come up best friends. They'd
get distracted by a butterfly floating past them and fall off looking at the butterfly.
Philippa would go, it's a bug, and Posey would look up, hit her own head on the Q-tippy thing, which would send Philippa off kilter, and they both fall in.
The mamas and then the older siblings fight, and now it's up to the last siblings to be the tiebreaker, and they're just
all of the family members are on the sidelines going hand to face, oh my God.
Then it comes down to the housekeepers, Varley versus Varley. It'd be Varley versus Irma. I think Varley would win for sure, though.
And Varley versus Ray. Varley would win.
Yeah.
Varley versus Mrs. Wilson. Varley would win.
Varley would win because she's a scrapper. Mrs. Wilson is cunning, but Varley is cunning and a little bit more cutthroat.
Yeah. I think the only one where it wouldn't come out hands down Varley is if it was Varley and Alfie. Because I think the two of them would start gossiping and they'd forget it was even a fight.
Okay, I'm getting distracted with these now. Final one, because we're going to go mamas. Who do you think would win out of Violet versus Miss Sharma? Mrs. Sharma, Lady Sharma, Mary. Violet?
Yeah, Daphne learned how to punch from somewhere, and I don't think it was Edmund.
That's a good point. I think she learnt it from her brothers, to be honest, watching them fight all the time.
That's only watching. Look at what young Violet was like in Queen Charlotte. I think she taught her daughter how to deck a man.
I would definitely teach your daughter how to deck a man.
She's like, if you ever get caught in the hedges, everyone's going to question you unless that man walks out with a black eye. So I'm going to teach you how to make a black eye.
For today, gentle listeners, we will leave it there and continue on next week's episode. We've got the final 3 scenes before we get up to the wedding scene. If you have any tangents you would like to share, please find the Ladies Bridgerton on Facebook and YouTube. Enjoying the podcast, please click like, subscribe, and follow wherever you are listening.
And once again, thank you for listening to the musings of two
Mad mamas.
I don't even know if mad is enough anymore.
Magnetic.
We're Delulu. Two
Needs to be-
Delulu debutantes.
Yours truly, Art the Kiwi.
And Lady Patty.
I'm like...